Welcome into another Game Changers, another road edition. Mike Cunio, Kim Bokamper, Steve Goldstein.
We've been here a month and a half.
We've been out in Houston for a very long time. Yes, we're here in Houston for the joint practices between the Dolphins and the Texans, and of course that preseason game number 2 that's going to happen Saturday night. And you can hear the three of us on the call. Thank God you guys hear more of them than me, for sure. Let's talk about some big news that happened at the second joint practice, and that's Teron Armstead leaving with an injury. Obviously, there's going to be updates that come out in the next coming days, Bo. But my concern with this team is it seems like this is like a Jenga game where he seems like always the cog that if you pull him out, all of a sudden this thing is close to toppling. Is that what it feels like for you?
You know what? Last year when he was going in and out, I felt like he was the substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Right. When he was in there, everyone was in line doing their things. When he left, he was kind of got a little roughshod after that. And I think that's kind of the way it is with him. You know, he's a captain. He's a presence. You know, he's a team leader. So when he's in there, it tightens everybody up. And with him out, it kind of frays a little bit. But you know, you hope it's not. It looked to me a lot like the same thing he had last year, and I hope it's not that. But he was certainly disappointed. But look, got to be next guy up. You know, it's just the way of this league. And look, they did it all year last year, so they're probably going to be doing it all again this year. Again, you know, can he play? Can he not play? You know, it's just tough. But you know, those things happen. It's training camp.
Goldie, can they survive the season, or maybe even just the early part of the season, without him, or does this offense now completely change if he is out?
Well, the one thing they did is they kind of prepared, maybe not for him specifically getting hurt, but for overall the offensive line, and got more depth. I mean, you've got a guy like Kendall Lamb, you've got Obwehi, you've got Isaiah Wynn, who played for the Patriots. So they brought in Feeney from the Jets, so they brought in some depth players on the offensive line, because last year, as we know, late in the season when they went up to Buffalo for the playoffs, they were caught very short on that offensive line. But he's an all-pro. He's the guy they targeted to go out there and solidify the whole thing, and they've also still got a question next to him on that left side. So right side seems set. Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, Williams at center. Left side in flux. Can they survive it? You know, if he is out, I think they can survive it. But based on last year, you know, it's a different team when he's not in there. The guy is a great player. He's been a great player for a decade. But I do like the fact they have more depth.
You know, I think one of the things that's helped them is when Teron was in there, they were using those guys on the other side because they were looking in case Austin Jackson was going to have some trouble. Sure. So they were trying guys out at that spot. So now they're just taking those guys, move them to the other side, and get that going. So I think that helps a little bit.
All right, well, the Dolphins are dealing with injuries. Other teams in the AFC East have been loading up, specifically at the running back position. Now it's Dalvin Cook with the Jets. It's Ezekiel Elliott with the Patriots. Goldie. I'm sure Hard Knocks just got a little bit better for the Jets. Maybe more Dalvin, less Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But are you concerned that maybe the division is, if they haven't caught up to the Dolphins, adding more of talent, that maybe this is more of a horse race towards the end?
Yeah, I think it already was. Then you go add those two guys in New England. I don't think Elliott's as big a factor, but they got Ramondre Stevenson, so that's a nice mix there, you know. Use Elliott as the big power back. What the Jets did is they were sitting there at the poker table, and they were deciding. They pushed all their chips in. I mean, they are all in. This is a 2-year project, really a 1-year project. With Aaron Rodgers, they brought in some of his buddies from Green Bay. They already had a good defense. They already got the rookies of the year on offense and defense, and now you throw Dalvin Cook in there. For the Dolphins, I just think they're okay in that running room. I really do. Having those two guys, Wilson and Mostert, Bo, that know this Mike McDaniel offense, I think is key in year number 2.
You know, I can't say for a fact, but you got to think a little bit that, like, you know, we saw A-Chain last week play really well, right? And so you're watching, he's looking pretty good here. Maybe we don't need Dalvin Cook so much. So maybe the Dolphins just say, hey, look, we're not gonna chase him anymore. And the Jets stepped in and took him away. At least that's the way I'm trying to frame it in my mind.
Bo, real quick.
Although this, I tell you, you don't say much. Elliott. The problem with Elliott up there is, you know, he's a touchdown scorer. He's a red zone guy. I mean, what do you have, like 25 touchdowns, 23 touchdowns or something last year? So that's where New England's going to thrive with him in that position.
Well, before we go to break, I want to ask you if your AFC East rankings have changed, because a week ago we did this, and you had the Jets at 3.
Yeah.
Did they move up at all with the addition of Dalvin?
Yeah, they did. So I'm
So they jumped the Bills.
They jumped the Bills. Right. They jumped the Bills. No doubt about that. We're still the king of the hill, though, right now.
We'll see.
Until we start playing games.
What month are we in again? Still in August? Still in August? All right.
In August, it's the time to talk trash. Come on, man. We're number one.
How much trash talking did you do in August during your playing days?
I was too tired to talk trash.
When you played those, 11 preseason
I'm
games?
almost too tired to talk right now. So, that's kind of how it was for me.
Take a seat during the break.
Yeah, take a little time out for yourself.
All right. Much more on Game Changers coming up when we come back. Welcome into the Messi Show. I mean, Game Changers. We do talk about Lionel Messi a whole lot here on this show. Hey, Inter Miami continuing the South Florida tradition of winning and getting to title rounds, title games. They are in the Leagues Cup Championship. They're going to take on a fellow MLS team in Nashville. And my curiosity here is, do you think, Goldie, we've convinced Bo to jump on the soccer bandwagon?
He's got to. I mean, it's a championship game. I know it's not MLS, so they stop in the middle of the year for the Leagues Cup, but hey, you know what? This guy is scoring at will. He's walked in, completely changed the entire team. Now, you may look at it as, well, he should because he's so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's still fun to watch. I mean,
Bo, are you having fun?
No, look, I love soccer. I really do. I like good soccer. I don't like the high school level soccer or just above the high school level, but I do like soccer very well. And I like, man, look, but I tell you what they're doing. I think that they're doing, they're bringing in good players. They brought in, they're giving him support. It's not just him by himself.
By the way, isn't there a salary cap in this league? How are they bringing all these guys in? I'm just curious.
Come on,
Where's the money coming
I
from?
really believe what they're trying to do more so. They got this made up tournament that they got just so they can get Messi on some extra. It pains me. It pains me. It pains me.
This is what confused me. We're both like, I'm a fan. And
he was trying. Then a big butt.
It pains me that they're in last place in the MLS league, yet they're going to the championship game in this made up tournament.
But they haven't played an MLS game yet. They're not back in the season yet.
It's the name of the event.
I got it. I got it. It's a fake.
It's okay. Okay, well, we hope they win. By the way, if they win a title here, what does it rank in the pantheon of who's had a great season this year in South Florida?
I think what they're trying to do is put together a team that can play on the international stage.
Yeah.
When they get to that stage, man, I'm gonna have that. What do you have? That shawl that you put around your thing, and
scarf,
stupid hats and stuff, and stupid sunglasses. I'll be all in once they get on the international stage. Fort Lauderdale isn't an international stage right now. I guess it is because everyone's watching one game and one guy.
I just like to remind everyone that Bo started this segment off with "I love soccer," and then eviscerated it.
I said I love good soccer.
Are they favored over Nashville in this?
I gotta imagine they are because
they were scoring a goal a game as a team.
Yeah.
For what, 20, 22 games?
Yeah.
Now they're averaging almost 4 goals a game.
Right.
I mean, that was my intrigue on Messi coming over. How much better is he than everybody else? It appears he's really, really much, much, much better than everybody else. He's turned the whole thing around.
I think what he's trying to do is see how far back he can get and score a goal.
Come on.
He did that the other night.
Go from 30 yards out. If I can do that, let me do it another.
Man amongst boys.
I kid, fellas.
Man amongst boys.
Yes,
I cannot wait to see the comment section on this one, guys.
He's a man amongst boys.
Yes, he is. All right, we got much more coming up on Game Changers. We're going to talk a little bit about the Marlins, who are in the fight for a wild card as we come down to the final month and a half of the season. We'll be right back. Back for more Game Changers here in Houston, Texas. Mike Cunio, Steve Goldstein. I keep wanting to say Houston Texans. That name is just too close to the actual geography. But let's keep it rolling. We talked about football a little bit in the first block. We hit on the Messi stuff. Now let's talk about the Marlins as they inch closer to the postseason. They're right in the mix, Goldie, for a wild card spot. The last few years, we've known their pitching has been kind of their bread and butter. Are you worried there have been moments this season that you couldn't trust it, whether it was a starting rotation or the guys coming out of the bullpen? As they inch towards the playoffs, is now the rotation and the bullpen the concern?
Well, the bullpen's a little bit of a concern. You you kind of don't know what you're getting. I still feel like Skip Schumacher, in a lot of ways, as manager, is trying to figure it out. Robertson's obviously on the back end, but, Puck comes in earlier than he was earlier in the season during games. So I do think that bullpen is still a work in progress. Jesus Luzardo I thought was pitching great, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden here over the last month, things have kind of gone south for him, but Sandy's picked it up. They're right there, though. It certainly looks like, remember one point earlier in the season, they were, 12 or even 14 games over
14
500?
games over 500.
Double digits
Yeah.
over. It looks like 7, 8 over 500 may claim one of those final wild card spots, and they're right in there with those teams. It really hurt the other night when the Cubs came back, 3-1 down in the ninth.
Yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing, Mike. Now you have people, as I
Intrigued.
was, I'm paying attention to the Cubs-White Sox game, rooting for the White Sox to close it out, and the Cubs get the 3-run
Yeah.
homer in the bottom of the ninth. That's what it's all about for this team. Be competitive, stay in the fight, and I do need to say one thing, Mike. Jake Berger, I'm sorry. Josh Bell, I'm sorry. I said these guys have some pop last week.
Oh, they
but
got some pop.
They're 220, 230 hitters. No. They're hitting about 310 combined since the Marlins got them. So big apologies to those two guys.
Josh Bell's been putting it out of the ballpark.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's had kind of like, I don't know what it is, maybe the South Florida air, the cooking down here or something, maybe just a new team, new atmosphere.
He's trying to keep up with Messi, so step in and...
Hey, look at that. Who's having a hotter July or August?
Hey, if you're a South Florida team, you have to win and be in the playoff race. That's now what we've done
This
here
is the standard.
all throughout 2023.
We've got a standard. So on that note, I guess the Marlins will just make the playoffs then. They're going to get in?
Hey, I really hope they sneak. I think they have as good a chance as anybody. Maybe not one of those top 2 wild cards, not that it really matters.
Yeah.
Remember that first round will be a best of 3. If you get that last wild card, you're on the road for all 3 games. But just putting them in this wild card race, I think it's something that the franchise needs, that the market needs. And you know what? They got some young guys on this team. This is valuable experience. They got, 6 weeks left now, sprint to the finish line.
Yeah.
And, hey, they got as good a chance. It's a big sample size.
Yeah.
They're as good as those other teams. I mean, they are.
They are. The schedule not helping them much, but we'll see. We'll find out now if they're good and worth making.
They'll overmatched
the
against the Astros. We watched one of those games while you were sucking down all that barbecue.
12-5, whatever it
You had
came
the
down to.
ribs. You had the brisket.
Pulled pork.
You had the pulled pork.
Yep.
You didn't have the beans, though. I had the baked beans. You liked the beans.
Didn't have the beans. Didn't have the mac and cheese.
Didn't have the dessert.
Didn't have the desserts.
That's why he looks the way
We
he
got.
does.
You just naturally look that way.
Well,
Thanks, man.
my man Lewis, he had the ice cream afterwards.
You guys did. You dragged me to ice cream.
He had the bread, what was it, banana bread ice cream. I mean, delicious. Amazing.
Yeah. We're not going to get any more ice cream. It's taco time.
Well,
It's not Taco Tuesday, but it's definitely taco time. All right, much more game changers when we come back. We're going to wrap things up here from Houston, Texas. Time to wrap things up here on Game Changers. Kim Camper, Steve Goldstein, Mike Cunio
Did you run
here
for a taco
and
quickly?
Houston. Yeah,
I got
quickly.
I
Took 2 breaks off.
I got him the vegan tacos.
come on, man.
Those don't
I know
exist.
that. Look at that face.
Those don't exist.
Look at that face.
What are you looking at me for?
Zoom in on that. Look at that face on the
We go to Whataburger and I get chastised for having a chicken
amazing.
sandwich.
We go to
Right there.
Whataburger, he gets a chicken sandwich with 2 pieces of lettuce wrapped around it like a bun. Come on,
and
man.
I took
Come on,
the
man.
bread off.
Please.
I took the bread off.
Yeah.
I took
Yes,
the bread
yes.
off.
Talk to the hand.
Yes. All right.
He's one of those guys that eats the burger with just the bottom bun. And
No,
you
that is a Goldie move.
Yeah, I
It's
can't.
a Goldie.
Every
You did
once
that
in a while,
twice.
I'm a little guilty. I apologize. I'm sorry, man. I was with you up till that. He busted me.
All right. Let's get back on track here before it's completely derailed. Hey, look, for the Houston Texans,
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud, he's going to start here in preseason game number 2 against the Dolphins. Should Tua play? Do you want to see Tua play? The Armstead news is out there.
no.
How does that affect all this?
Well, when I saw Tron Armstead go down, my thoughts goes, let's not see Tua this week. Let's not see Tua until the regular season. I think they're going to give him some time. It's funny because Tua gets asked every day. He goes, I don't know.
Right.
Mike gets asked every day. He goes, well, I don't know. I'll think about it. And he doesn't give it. So I just think with that injury, that particular injury, and you compound if something happens to Tua, I tell you, if he gets into a game, I hope it's maybe 2 series, and I'll be holding my breath almost every play.
Again, Jenga. You just pull that one cog out, and has an effect. So, Goldie, I mean, you're calling the games. You want to call some Tua plays, or do you think they should, as Bo said, maybe rethink this and just get to the regular season as healthy as possible?
Well, selfishly, I'd like to see him in there.
Yeah.
I think they play next week in Jacksonville.
I
I think they get Tyreek a few reps. He likes to get a little bit of game action. They'll be careful with Jalen Waddle. I don't expect to see him the rest of the preseason. Maybe not in practice, certainly not in games. But, this week they had the joint practices. I certainly think next Saturday night in Jacksonville, get two in there for a series of two, maybe some three-step drops, put it out in the flat, maybe one deep pass, and that's it, get them up.
Yeah.
Just to get them a little bit of game action. At least that's my expectation. But, Mike McDaniel is leaving it open.
Yep.
If two ever goes and says, you know what, I'm good, I don't want to play, I don't think he's going to do that. Everybody just seems open to it. So that would be my guess, the final preseason game.
Let me ask you guys a question. I've been noticing during this. Don't you think Tua is getting a lot more comfortable?
Yeah.
And being a lot more just himself. You're seeing a lot more of his personality come out, both on the team when he's working with his guys, when he comes to the podium. He's just become. I think he's a lot more comfortable in his skin than I've ever seen him since he got here.
100%. The question you asked him the other day about the play calls ends up going viral online. By the way, how did you do when he recited that whole play? Were you able to get it? Were you able to spit it back out?
I didn't pay attention. I didn't listen because I knew it was going to be gibberish. I can't make heads and tails.
What were the play calls back in your day on defense?
It would be 53 or 55 zone, double zone, or one coverage.
That's the Spark Notes version of whatever the heck Tua said the other day.
Well, so look, I was talking to some of our guys. I was talking to Danny the other night. We were talking about play calling. He said we had calls like 72 Texas, and everyone knew what they did.
Right.
That was the whole call, the whole play call. 72 Texas.
Yeah.
P10. 534.
And West Coast offense changed a lot.
It's a lot more complicated now. Tua seems comfortable in it. That's still.
I mean, he rattled it off. It was actually very cool. And to your point, how comfortable not only is on the field, but in the media. I mean, it's been fun to watch that progression.
Yeah. By the way, people need to realize how difficult it is because he's getting those plays in his helmet.
Yeah.
And he's already reciting the play in the huddle while he's still getting the play in the helmet. That's not a very easy thing to do, to be able to talk while you're still getting the information.
Against the play clock.
Kind of like you on TV being the professional that you are. You have a producer.
I was just about to say.
That's why you're a pro.
The play clock is running down on this show. So why don't we get out of
Why
here?
don't you end it then?
Yeah.
Right? Why don't you do that? You're
What?
good at ending
You're the
things.
host with the most.
Okay. I don't like you telling me what to do. So we'll just go for another.
what
We'll
about
go for
lettuce?
another
Let me-
half hour.
Let me rephrase it. Mike, would you please end this so we can go and
What
have
about
lunch?
2 pieces of lettuce around a burger, sir? Can you?
That's going to do it for Game Changers. Bye, Bo. Bye, Goldie. We will see you next week.